UPTV, Tell It Like It Is, 8 o'clock. And you know what? We got a special guest here tonight. 1 year ago, he was hurt on the field, and they thought his career was over.
Back.
But after many months of rehabilitation and a couple of surgeries,
$6 million man.
the 23 is now 45. Chicago Bull fans, we give you the one and only Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, welcome back. How
Hey.
you doing, man?
What's going on?
I'm doing good, man. Can you believe it's been 1
Man,
year?
1 year, man. You know, you never thought it. You never would thunk it, or you however you want to say
So,
it. But 1 year.
Michael Jordan, pigmentation problem, he had surgery?
Well, no, he's in Cognito.
Oh, they ain't had no sunlight
I'm
on.
a different kind of Michael, you know. There's
He's-
all
he's-
kind of Michael impersonators. Michael Jackson impersonators, Michael Jordan impersonators. I'm just impersonating that different kind of Michael.
He's Michael
Jordan.
Jackson Jordan
Right.
because he a little beige. That's what's happening.
But I'm back. Just
you
like
back.
Michael did. Just like Michael Jackson did. Everybody come back. Right.
Yeah, you came back. You came back like Little Richard.
Temporarily, but I'm back.
But you back, and we glad to have you here. We appreciate you coming by. Big Bun is here. See, that's why I made the Michael Jordan comment, because Big Bun wearing his Air Jordan sweatshirt in honor of the return of Michael Jackson Jordan.
Better known as Johnny Dollar. Just for those of you never see me on here before. Better known as Johnny Dollar, the one and only.
And you know what, man? It doesn't seem like it's been a year, does it,
No,
Bun?
no.
No, it don't.
It seemed more like 4-5 years. We missed you.
Yeah,
We
you know.
really missed you, man.
Hey, it's a good thing. It's a good
We're
thing.
glad you're back. Stat Girl,
What's happening?
not a thing. You know, last week we missed you. You know, I know you were
Thank you.
singing, directing the choir. I don't know what you do. You know,
Did you make American Idol?
No, I'm too old.
You ain't never too old for American Idol.
The cutoff is 28.
Oh, I
think-
wouldn't have known you was over that age. Really wouldn't
I did.
have. Real talk.
I think you'd be better off serving that BET show.
Which one is that?
The one for the gospel or whatever. what
Who
it
are you
is.
wrong for that?
Everybody try.
Bobby Jones?
See, that you know. You already know what show I'm talking about, so you ready.
Thought
We
you was my
appreciate you coming
friend. Thought
back.
you was my friend.
Get
Say
a
what?
bag of rubber bands and
I
shoot
said I
them.
thought you was my friend.
I am your friend, and only a friend would be honest with you.
That's very true.
You know, so that's what's happening tonight. We're going to get ready to get honest on this sports tip. 328-8280. If you want to call us, hit us 328-8280. Stat Girl's going to jump in on it. We're going to jump right into the fray. Fighting Illini played a Big Ten basketball game last night on the road against Northwestern. And believe it or not, Illinois won a road game, but it didn't look good last night. Illinois was down 14 points at Welsh Ryan Arena. The Northwestern Wildcats was playing some tremendous basketball. They were up 57-43 with 5 minutes and change left. And then somebody punched a button and flipped a switch. And the Fighting Illini took off and came back for a miraculous 60-59 victory over the Northwestern Wildcats, and puts Illinois in sole possession of second place in the Big Ten at 8-4. And they got their 20th victory last night by defeating Bill Carmody's Wildcats. I'm going to turn to Michael Jackson Jordan, Johnny Dollar. Last night's game, Fighting Illini. What are your thoughts on what happened up there in Evanston?
Well, you know, I didn't get a chance to see but the second half. But as far as what I saw, man, is, you know, the beginning of the second half, they looked sloppy. They couldn't throw the ball. They couldn't dribble the ball. There's traveling calls being called. But under the 5-minute session of the game, Meacham somebody grabbed him by his collar and said, hey, man, look here. It's time for you to do what you do. If you can't handle the pressure situations like this, then we got to find somebody that can. And Meacham stepped up. I think he scored like 14 points or 12 points in the last 5 minutes of the game. And he was penetrating. He hit them crucial threes. I think he hit a couple crucial threes. And hey, McCamey done what he needed to do. And I think Meacham, them 12 or 14 points he scored with under 5 minutes, I think that kind of like he's going to be ready for Bloomington here coming up this weekend.
Bun, Johnny Dollar talked about the last 5 minutes. Remember Nolan Richardson used to coach at Arkansas? Mm-hmm. And he used to have what was it, 40 minutes of hell?
Yep,
Illinois pulled out 5 minutes of hell last night on Northwestern.
sure did. Northwestern panicked. I mean, the last 3 or 4 minutes, they put a press on them, and they could have broke the press if they just dribbled the ball. They went right to the corner, like we tell our little kids, don't go to the corner, they give you an extra defender. And what they do, they go right over there to the corner and turn the ball over. And that cost them. Well, actually, what really cost them when they shot that three-pointer and his coach was, I thought he was going to have a heart attack right then, but Illinois put it out at the end. That's the game they needed. Sometimes they might get the wheels a turning.
Now, like Dollar said, the team did not play good basketball. They were down 6 at half. As I indicated earlier, they were down 14 with 5 minutes left. And one of the things that had them down was free throws. Everybody, we talked about how they've improved this year. But last night is an indication that free throws ain't free. At one point, Illinois missed 9 free throws in a row. They ended the game 2 for 12. Mike Davis was 0 for 4 from the line. McCamey was 1 for 4. There's your 1 for 9 streak right there. Bun, I'll start off with you. Usually when you look at a stat like that, you go 2 for 12 from the free throw line, you don't win.
Nope.
You don't win at all.
And I mean, they've been shooting free throws good all year long, and maybe it's just gym size last night. They don't hold them about 300-400 people, and the gym was too small.
They're playing at Huff.
No, it wasn't Huff. It was Hiff. It was a Hiff Hall.
Hiff Hall.
Hiff Hall.
It's behind Huff.
You're right.
You're right. I don't know if it was the environment, the size of the gym, the tightness of the rims, or what was going on, but they could not hit free throws. And like I said, free throws aren't free, and because of that, Illinois really struggled from the free throw line. But, Dollar, you mentioned Trent Beecham. Now, for, I want to say probably, 7, 8 Big Ten basketball games, Trent's really been struggling from the field. He's been having some issues. People talk about him not being able to guard out on the perimeter. You saw Jeff Jordan come in a few times, but something woke him up. You said earlier somebody grabbed him and shook him or whatever. I don't know what it was. What do you think woke him up last night in those last? Because he scored, 12 points in the last 5 minutes of the game?
And I'm telling you, man, it's a situation we all go through as athletes back in our younger days. And when you know you're one of the top players on the team, which he supposedly is as far as one of the best shooters on the team, there's going to be some coach or there's going to be some player that we probably didn't see on camera that say, hey, man, come on, man, we need you, bro. We need you right now.
Right.
And if you notice, he was shooting unconsciously. I mean, he's shooting there. I mean, he's getting the ball and shooting, just stepping and shooting. It wasn't no set shots. It was just pass, shoot, bam. He was just catching it and shooting. That's it. And it wasn't thinking when he was shooting, but he just woke up when he needed to woke up. And I think, I don't know, I hope that may just carry over for the next game. At least you hope so.
Right.
Because if he hits his threes consistently, man, he ain't got to hit 50%. As long as he keeps it under the low 40s. If he hits that consistently, Illinois is going to be hard to beat.
Well, like he said, Bun, he was, I think, 6 for 8 from the field. And I think the thing that impressed me more about Trent was not the three-point shooting, and it wasn't the penetration to the hoop on the offensive side.
Defense.
His defense.
Yep.
That boy went out there and locked up Thompson on the point. And if you think about that big play he made at the end to get the Illinois ball back,
Yep.
that was a clear-out play where the guy just tried to take it one-on-one.
And he knocked the ball off the guy, defender, went out of bounds, ball going the other way. I mean, like Dallas said, maybe something woke him up, say, hey, it's time for me to step up. You really, because everybody don't want to lose to Northwestern. Northwestern is a preppy school. They known for physics and atoms and geometry and trigonometry. They're not known for sports.
Right.
And they just, one of them teams in the Big Ten, like Penn State in basketball. You look at them and, that should be an easy win right there. But Northwestern, I mean, you look at Northwestern, they went to Michigan State and beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think, if I'm mistaken, they beat Wisconsin, right?
Yeah, they beat Wisconsin.
So, I mean,
they ain't on the road.
Yeah, they ain't your daddy's old team anymore.
That's not your daddy's Wildcats, as they used to call it back in the day. Those are the Wildcats. I actually think this is what woke Meacham up. Everybody banged the drum during the Christmas break about Alex Legion. Legion's coming, Legion's coming, Legion's coming. And I think Trent started feeling a little pressure of his minutes were going to be diminished with Legion coming out. And I think he lost a little confidence looking over his shoulder. And I think the last game that Illinois played, I think Alex Legion didn't even come off the bench.
To the last 2 minutes of the game.
And I think that was the indicator. Coach Weber sent a message by benching Legion by saying to him, man, you're a senior. We need your senior leadership. We're going to ride you until this thing is over with. This guy's still got a couple more years left. He's not going to walk right in here and take your spot. And you've been here for 2-3 years. You learned this system. You've learned this. And you've earned this spot here. And I think that indicator and the fact that last night Legion only played 7 minutes and only took one shot.
But you also got to realize is, and I agree with what you're saying, but, Illinois is obviously going to be in the tournament. Mm-hmm. And regardless of what anybody thinks, Illinois is going to lead Alex Legion. Yeah. They're going to need him. So he needs to wake up sometime. Now, is it going to be tournament time? Who knows? But he needs to wake up sometime. But I'm going to tell you what Illinois' biggest problem is. I don't know what anybody thinks about this. That last second shot, McCamey shot last night was lucky. If you notice how the ball went off the backboard, it didn't go off high like the bank shot usually does. Mm-hmm. It just caught the very top of the rim and went in. Illinois doesn't have a finisher. They don't have anybody that when it's down to 10 seconds, they don't have anybody, at least I haven't seen anybody yet this year, that can basically take the ball to the hole and win the game. Because if you notice before that, McCamey picked up his dribble. He was lost, and then he had to pass to Meacham, and then all of a sudden he came around the screen, and then he just got it and shot it and then went in. So that was a lucky shot. Even though he made it, congratulations, but that was a lucky last-second shot by McCamey. And Illinois really need to figure out who is a last-second guy to go to.
Actually, that's an excellent point. They said that, and it was during the press conference last night, Coach Weber drew up a play where it was a high screen and roll with McCamey and Davis. And when Davis rolled to the basket, McCamey was supposed to kick it to him. He said the reason why he didn't is that he didn't have eye contact with Davis, and so he didn't want to just throw the ball away. And as you indicated, he had to kick the ball to Trent. He did a nice little curl route and got it to him. The other thing was, McCamey's been in a slump shooting the past couple of games. He said he's tried to work on that bank shot in terms of getting it in. It didn't look as clean. I had mentioned earlier today, it looked like old Bobby Dandridge from the Milwaukee Bucks when he used to bank it off the glass. If you some of you old timers remember Bobby Dandridge.
Glass.
Right. He always was getting glass. But with that being said, one of the other things that you saw last night, I don't think a lot of us have seen out of Illinois. You see the standard half-court man-to-man defense. Mm-hmm. But last night, in the last 5 minutes, they had to change things up. And they went to a full-court press, and they were trapping.
Confusing.
Well, guess what? That was the trap that Coach McClain used to run in Peoria when he won his 3 state titles. Yep. And they said that they never practiced it, but he drew it up right on the sideline. Would you like to see that press that Coach McClain drew up last night? Would you like to see him do it more?
It's a certain situation because, that's Northwestern. They don't have true point guards and stuff. You get in a true game with some true point guards, they'll break their press with no problem. Mm-hmm. And you be giving up points and you had to fall back out of it. But it's good to shake things up every now and then. You just can't just keep going to the same grocery store. You got to shop somewhere else every now and then. Try something different.
Yeah, I agree. Dollar, you want to see, and my thought is the reason why I bring up this press is the fact that if you look at the number of athletes they have on this team, you talk about getting more minutes for a guy like Legion, getting more minutes for Jeff Jordan, getting more minutes for Simrau and Bill Cole. That's 4 guys coming off the bench there. And with Calvin Brock, who's been coming off the bench, he got 16 minutes last night. You basically have another 5 that can go out there if you run that press for maybe 30, not 40 minutes of hell, but maybe give them 30 minutes of lukewarm hell. Is that what we can call it?
No, just like Bunny said, depending on the situation, because you got to look at the foul problems, because that press can also cause you to get in foul trouble. And you know what happens when you don't get in foul trouble. One guy fouls out. Usually you hope somebody, fills his shoes, but it doesn't always happen like that. So you just got to be careful on when you call it. And you got to really be careful when you call it press. There's some teams that press right out the door and press the whole game. Mm-hmm. Them are the ones that knows what they're doing and got different traps and a whole bunch of things. But when you're not a team that presses all the time,
right,
you're going to get in foul trouble. So there's times you can do it and there's times you shouldn't.
Well, Illinois was able to pull his press out, pull his game out, 60-59 over Northwestern. They're now 8-4. In the Big Ten, they're 20-5 overall. They're in sole possession of second place. Just Ohio State and Purdue are a half game behind. Both teams at 7-4. Michigan State's in the lead at 10-2, and then you drop all the way down. Indiana is 1 and I don't even know if they're on the sheet right now. 1-10 in the Big Ten, 6-17 overall. And guess what? Just when you got to play the team that wasn't your daddy's, Northwestern, you get to play the team that definitely ain't your daddy's, Indiana Hoosiers. The Indiana Hoosiers are 6-17 this year. They've got a variety of players from walk-ons to JUCO transfers to freshmen filling the spot for Tom Crean. Illinois got them here early in January and beat them by about 30. And now Indiana has been being more competitive than they had at the beginning of the year. They got their first victory a couple weeks ago against Iowa. Illinois goes to Indiana Sunday noon to play the Indiana Hoosiers. Bun, even though this is your rival, you're 20-5. They're 6-17. They struggled all year. Dumas may not play in this game.
He's suspended.
Do you see any threat from coming off this emotional victory last night and then going in? Do you think this might be what they call a trap game?
Yep, it could be. I mean, I think they'll win, but it's not going to be like it was here. It's not going to be like you look at the score and it's 47-12, and I think Indiana going to come to play.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom Crean, I mean, get him now. Get him good now because he got some boys coming in next year. And when you suspend your best player, Dumas, suspend him, he's setting the tone for next year.
Right.
No nonsense. He said everybody gonna have a trial. It's just like to play in high school. Everybody, what parts you want for?
Right.
If you don't make it, guess what? You sit on the bench or get your pom-poms.
Well, there might be a lot of pom-poms being floated around, Dollar. Indiana is 1-10. Now, they did get their one victory at home against Iowa, like I said, about a week ago. Illinois, last time they played Iowa, struggled. They still beat them here. But do you think Indiana has an opportunity with their arch rival? Do you think this game makes Indiana season if they can pull off an upset?
Well, when you get beat, whenever you get beat by 30 by somebody that you always hated for years on back from the Bobby Knight days, you never know what can happen. Yeah. Who would have thought Notre Dame would beat Louisville by what they beat them by?
33.
So they're coming at home, man. They're going to Bloomington. So Roth can get hot. He can come off. He's a pure shooter. You never know. He can get 30 off. Verdell might just say, okay, hey, I gotta show these boys why they didn't pick me, why they should have picked me. You never know what can happen. What's the center name? Pickley or what's his center name for Indiana?
Slipped my mind right now.
But you never know.
Get a brain freeze every now and then.
Got it. You done stumped the swab.
You done stumped the swab. Give him a bag of chips.
Well, everybody can remember all sports names like you and you. All I'm saying is you just never know.
Right.
They're going into Bloomington, and Bloomington ain't nothing easy to go to. I don't care what the record is.
Right.
That's Assembly Hall.
And that's an excellent point. Like you said, when you're going into the, what they would call the Assembly Hall, they have a little problem with what we call the Assembly Hall. But I think the rivalry games, regardless of what your records are, you take the scores and records and just throw them out. Because the emotion from the crowd, I think the people in the building will be so energized to try to get that team pumped up, because if they can get a victory for Indiana on Sunday over Illinois, that makes Tom Crean it makes everything worthwhile.
Yep.
The suspensions, the losses, the transfers, all the issues that basketball program has had this year will be swept under the rug if they get a victory going up against Illinois, 20th ranked team in second place in Big Ten. That's why I think one of the things you're going to look for, Verdell Jones, Champaign Central graduate, freshman over to Indiana, he gets to go up against Chester Frazier and company. Now, Verdell didn't play as well as he probably wanted to when they played here at the Assembly Hall. Mm-hmm. But now he's got an opportunity to play these guys on his quote-unquote home court. Mm-hmm. And I think look for him to have a great game just based on the emotional factor of now they're coming to his place. And these are guys, while he was in high school, that he got an opportunity to play a lot of basketball against. So I don't think that, like you said, that 30-point cushion Illinois had back in January, that thing shrinks. The final thing is, you think about the energy. I think you or one of y'all talked about Tom Crean and the fact that he's nonstop on the sideline. Mm-hmm. And I think he's going to match Coach Weber's intensity. You might hear Weber yell move, and you might hear Crean yell stay. I mean, he's going to be playing a chess piece. You know, he's going to be going back and forth with Coach Weber. So I think Tom Crean, along with Verdell playing against some guys from here, this is going to be a pretty interesting game on Sunday.
Because he's the kind of coach going to make adjustments. Because when he's at Marquette, I mean, you look last year he's at Marquette. He took his best player, Dominique James. Mm-hmm. He wasn't playing good. He put him on the bench. He benched him one game, and the next game he had to come off the bench. He didn't believe Fat Meat Greasy. So Tom Crean, one of them coaches, I mean, hey, we gonna find it.
So you saying he didn't believe it was greasy, put a bib on him and put a nice big plate in front of him,
Right.
and said, try this. And it worked.
It worked.
Well, if Illinois pull that game out, they'll be 9-4 in the Big Ten, and they may be able to win out. Now they got some tough games left: Penn State, Michigan State here, Minnesota. They still got them, and what's behind? Let me turn around and look at that. Penn State, they got to go to Ohio State, Minnesota, and Michigan State, and Penn State again. So it's going to be tough, but February 18th is the next game at home, the Assembly Hall taking on the Nittany Lions. So they might be able to run 3 in a row if they can get this game tomorrow. Mm-hmm. We're almost finished with the first half of the show, 328-8280. If you want to jump in on the conversation, Johnny Dollar is back, dressed in black, looking like Michael Jackson Jordan Johnson Jr. Give him a call. Welcome me back to the show. Stat Girl, you sitting over there, one eye about to droop, looking like Stuart Scott from ESPN with the lazy eye.
Oh, I really would throw something at him, man. I really would throw something at him.
You all right? I know usually the phones ring at least 2 or 3 times at this point.
I need some callers.
Dollars, you got a secret admirer. Somebody called, taking her away like Calgon.
Oh, yeah, just like
Who called me? Somebody called me?
Yeah, that was last week, but you wasn't here.
Oh.
You missed out. So maybe if they're watching tonight, they can give you a hit back, and maybe they can bubble a tub up and come sweep you up. Because it is Valentine's weekend.
It is.
Wait a minute.
It is.
Black folks don't say time. We say Valentine's.
Valentine's.
Yeah.
Valentine's.
Be my Valentine's. Right. How many Valentine's?
I like Fannie Mae. I like Fannie Mae, FYI.
You had that bag of hearts. Yes, no, maybe.
With the candy.
With the candy.
Little heart-shaped candy.
And then you had your bag full of Valentine's.
Oh, yeah.
That you had to give out at school.
Right, with chicken scratch, right.
And did you write, how did you sign yours? Did it say Sean? Did it say Anthony?
It said Sean.
Or did it say
Bundy.
Big Bundy?
It wasn't that. It wasn't back then. It wasn't that. It was Sean. But see, then you had them. They had them other notes. It would see now they got cell phones. They text each other and stuff.
Right.
So back y'all remember them letters? Yes, circle yes or no, and then you didn't have any confidence, so you gave it to Dollar to give to Michelle.
Pass that note.
No, you didn't have confidence. I always had confidence.
Oh.
Don't talk about yourself.
Hey, y'all.
Look
Speak
at
for yourself now. Don't say we didn't.
Listen to Mr. Otis. Let
Right.
you say that. Let you say that.
I always had confidence.
Always had. He was a player from the
Yes,
Himalayas.
sir. Always had confidence.
So you never had to pass no notes on Valentine's.
Oh, I did. But I didn't have to go through nobody.
You was all. So you was Federal Express.
Right.
Absolutely, positively,
I just went
overnight.
right there or something. I might get a note before I pass it.
Wow.
You know?
you only got 6 people in the school. It
Well,
ain't hard.
Well, I still got to know. I still got to know.
Yeah, you got
Come over to my house, listen to Barry Manilow.
And Jagger and
Led Zeppelin.
all of them.
Yeah. And you was there too.
And my favorite.
Van Halen.
No, oh, he was one of my favorite, but Glenn Campbell.
Glenn Campbell was your favorite.
Like a rhinestone
One of my
cowboy.
favorites.
Wow. Is that it?
That's why, I'm different than everybody. I know how to adapt to wherever I go. See,
It's about
it
environment.
may be hard for some people to do that because they used to one environment to
Right.
where when they get in certain situations, they just freeze and lock up.
So what you saying is that you were a freshwater fish, went into the river, went downstream, and fell off in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of being a little fish in a big pond, you became a big fish in a big pond.
In a big blank, 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 blank pump. You know what I mean?
And I know what the blanket blank 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 is. Well, you know what? We done got off the subject a little bit, talking about Valentine's and the player sitting to my right. But we're going to get back on it. And if you got a question for us, hit us at 328-8280, 328-8280. We're going to get into the issue that came up earlier this week when Alex Rodriguez made his admission that he used steroids between the years of 2001 to 2003, which so happened were the years when he was with the Texas Rangers, and he was making about $2.50, something like that.
Per second.
Per second. $250 million. Now that this revelation has come out, is he truly still A-Rod, or is he like Joe Torre calls him now, a fraud?
I think he's A-Rod still. I mean, he took them steroids 4 or 5 years ago. He's still producing. And before he took them, he was in Seattle producing. So, I mean, these people kills me. What happened, the government and Major League Baseball, they opened a can of worms. So it's like they can't close it. They can't close the lid now. There's so many names out there. They're like, oh, my God, what have we done? What have we got ourselves into? And what they failed to realize, when those guys took those substance,
Right.
it wasn't illegal.
They were illegal on the street, but they weren't illegal in the league.
Yes.
So A-Rod is still A-Rod in your mind.
Yeah. But does he get in the Hall of Fame? He should, but I doubt it. Because you got baseball. I mean, look, y'all two Cubby fans, right? Ron Santo. Man deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. He got both his legs cut off, he got half ear, can't see, and got a toupee. And they still won't let the man in the Hall of Fame.
Pretty soon he's just going to be a floating head.
That's going to be something. A mass. It's just the way it is. That's the way society. Now, Mark McGwire, does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? Yeah, he was hitting home runs before this stuff. Barry Bonds, yes, he deserved. But you got the old school baseball writers, which is 75, 80 years old. Just think Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth hit home runs, sometimes didn't have no fence.
Right.
But, you know, he was a womanizer, alcoholic, come to games drunk. But that looked on society back then, that was acceptable.
It was a different time, different era. Dollar, A-Rod.
Well, you know, I listened to a little of your radio show earlier today, but A-Rod got a positive over a lot of other athletes, over the Bonses and the McGuires and everybody else. And what old boy said today was, A-Rod still got another 8 or 9 years. It's just like when you have an affair. He had an affair, he cheated.
Mm-hmm.
So time heals all wounds. If this man hits 50 home runs this year, hit 40 home runs a year after that, and keep averaging the 40 home runs 7 or 8 years down the road, all this in 2009 is forgotten.
No, it won't, because somebody,
It's gonna be,
because
there's
some
always
small,
gonna
going to be somebody going to bring it up.
But still, it's forgotten because number one, they can test him twice a day, and if he comes up not being positive on steroids, why shouldn't he be in the Hall of Fame? I think he approved himself.
Well, one of the things I think about with A-Rod is that when he came in the league, what was that, 97, 96?
96.
And he was playing with the Seattle Mariners. You had A-Rod, Ken Griffey Jr., and Randy Johnson on that team. You had basically three.
Martinez.
And Martinez on that team. 4 of the best players at their position at that time. Now, A-Rod, when he came in, he was supposed to be the next coming of the great shortstop. And he was at Seattle. And the reason why he got that $250 million when he went to Texas is because how great he played at Seattle. It had nothing to do with performance-enhancing drugs.
He plays the position well.
When he got to Texas, at that point, you know, the old saying, well, everybody was doing it. Well, everybody was doing it. And if you think about what A-Rod was trying to do, he was hitting 39 to 40 home runs a year. Now you may have to hit 50 or 60 a year. And so by taking that performance-enhancing drug, he was able to do it for a 3-year period. As you said, he was making $2.50 a second. And then from that point, he catapulted on to the New York Yankees where he is today. I look at it from this standpoint. You can take, Lou Ferrigno can't hit the curveball. And we know he was on the juice, just like Arnold Schwarzenegger. So it has to me, no bearing on the individual. It may make them a little stronger, a little faster, and they may be able to recover from injury better. But it still remains, you got to be able to hit the ball, field the ball, throw the ball. And A-Rod was able to do that before steroids, and he's able to do it after steroids. So I still think he's A-Rod 100%. Now, speaking of steroids, if you go back in history, Pittsburgh Steelers in the 70s won what? 4 Super Bowls in the 70s? And it came out afterwards, Mike Webster's center, and their offensive line was all juiced up. Then you think about moving fast forward in the baseball era, we've got a lot of guys who use steroids. Tony Mandarich came out of Michigan State, everything, offensive lineman. He was on steroids. He got to the league, couldn't use it, burn up. My question first, I'll start with Dollar and then come to you, Bun. Steroids. So what? If you use them, you choose at the, and I'm talking about at the professional level. If an individual chooses to use them, what's the big deal?
Well, you know, probably in your eyes and my eyes and my eyes, it probably ain't no big deal. But, you know, there's some people out there that thinks that it has an advantage on as far as how you perform. Some people out there thinking that, hey, leave that stuff alone. Let's see how good you can, see if you can average a 300 batting average for the whole season.
Right.
Or leave that stuff alone to see if you can, you know, stay healthy the whole season without getting that kind of assistance, you know, for your body. I mean, it's just depending on that person, man. As of right now, though, it's you can't do it, you know. And like we spoke about a long time ago, you know, yeah, it's in the pro level now in all sports, baseball, football, even in basketball, that we just ain't heard about it yet. Professional wrestling, you know, it's all over professional wrestling, weightlifting. But what we need to worry about is these college and high school kids, because I'm telling you, that's where they really need to concentrate on.
Right. I agree with you. Now, I'm going to ask you a personal question. If you were a professional athlete and you were in your mid-30s, you've been in the league for 10 years, guy comes in and says, I give you something to drink, take a pill, give you an injection, and you can stay on the field or the court or whatever for 5 more years and play better than you did the first 10 years, and you'll make $50 million more than what you made in the first 10 years, what'd you do?
Okay, it all depends on, and I'm thinking of how I'm thinking right now. It all depends on how I manage my money. If I'm sitting there, man, I need this money because number one, I'm blowing my money on this, If I can do this and get away for 5 years, I can retire and be set for life.
Right.
But if I know it's against the rules, and I'm like, hey, I don't need to do that. My bank account is good. I'm managing money. I got businesses. I'm doing this. I don't need to get my name out there like that. So it just depends on, a lot of people depends on what kind of situation a person's in.
Right.
You know, if you're in a bad financial situation and you know you got to stay in this league for another 2 or 3 years to get yourself on the come up, some people say, hey, I'll take that chance. Give me that juice.
And the final question, if they told you that this is going to knock 10 years off your life after you're done and gone with baseball or football or basketball or whatever it is, and instead of living to be 80 years old, you'll live to be 70?
Well, it goes back to, again, the situation. Then you're going to look at, it's all about taking care of your family, man. It depends on what is a person financial situation as of that time, at that particular time.
Right.
I mean, you know, look at the Barry Sanders, where he's still living in an apartment building when we first heard back before he was paying $400. Some people manage their money right and some people don't.
Right.
I mean, like you said, when you're making that much money per second, and if you don't manage it right, yeah, you're going to take that juice because you know, well, okay, I don't care about living to be 80.
Right.
70 is long enough for me, as long as I got enough money for my kids to be well taken care of, my wife, and blase, give me the juice.
Interesting answer. Bun, come with you. Same question I just gave him, and then tell me what your feelings are about just steroids in the professional level.
I mean, the management owners have made steroids this issue right now. Like a couple years ago when baseball was dead, they had to bring it back because they had all these strikes and stuff. So McGuire, they turned their back on it. They turned their back on baseball, and it come back to bite them in the butt.
Right.
Football, it's been going around for a long time, but you get like steroids now is like roid rage. I mean, you get people crazy and stuff. But like Dawg said, I mean, it's in all sports. You can't control it. But I hate to see, you know, I think it's really bad in hockey, if you want to know the truth.
Right.
Because, you know, them guys take poundings every night on the ice. They getting hit in the boards. They getting hit in the mouth with pucks and stuff like that. And contracts are set up now about performance. You get so much money per performance.
Right.
So if you're not on the field, you're not going to get that $500,000.
Right.
Give me what I need to take to keep me on that field, and I can get that $500,000. It's all about the dollars now. Or, players come a dime a dozen, like the NBA. If you hear one of these stories sometime where a guy go from the CBA out the league back onto the NBA, he get one shot, and guys like that, they don't want to take a chance. They can do whatever they got to do to stay there.
Right. Well, would you, if you were in that situation, playing football, somebody came in, same thing I told Dollar. You've been playing for 10 years. You know you're on the decline. He said he can give you a pill or an injection to keep you on the field for 5 years and make you more money than you made in those first 10 years. And you know at the end of everything, you lost 10 years on your life. Would you do it?
Yes.
But in a sport like football, and you know they're going to be tested, you ain't going to last long. I mean, it'd be ridiculous if you know they tested.
But the difference between baseball, difference between baseball and football, in baseball you get suspended. You can get 52 games. You can get a whole year. NFL, you ain't gonna put a 4-game suspension the first time.
As of right now, but I just think it's risky, man.
It's risky.
If you know you shouldn't do it, and you know what the consequence is going to be, I mean, it just goes back to what financial situation. I mean, that's all I'm saying.
Now, you talk about on a pro level, I think it's even worse in a college level. It's more pressure.
That's what I just told
College
you.
and high school and college. I mean, you look at them guys like the combine coming up in a couple weeks. You don't think somebody want to go out there and run a 4.3 40 and jump high and bench press 2 1/4 60 times?
Right.
But it won't happen this year because they're going to be testing them. These cats are they're getting real strict on all those things right now, man.
But the thing about it, they test who they want to. Money moves the world.
Right.
Now, if I was Dollar, representing Dollar, and he's going to the combine, and I'll be like, well, guess what? There's an envelope over there. I think he got about maybe $100,000 in it. That man don't get tested.
And he just walks through the bathroom.
Walk through the bathroom.
Right.
He'll come out with some urine. I don't know who the urine it is.
You know what? As trying out, I would do because I'm broke, and if I get caught, at least I got 100 stacks.
Well, the lab rep will come out and say, well, I know 2 things, Mr. Towns. Number 1, you tested negative for steroids. And number 2, your cat's pregnant. Because this ain't yours. But my personal opinion, number 1, I think when we talk about sports, and Dollar said, I mentioned this earlier on the radio this afternoon, it's about entertainment. Mm-hmm. People sit at home, spend their hard-earned paycheck for the cable or the direct TV
or the big TVs.
And 54-inch plasmas.
And don't nobody want to see no 1-0 baseball game.
They don't want to see no 1-0 baseball game. They don't want to see nobody shooting layups. And they don't want to see no football player run across and do a basic tackle and wrap his arms around the guy, and then he get dragged for a little bit, and then they all fall down. People don't want to watch that.
Nope, not these days.
People want to sit down and see.
It's almost like they want roid rage.
Right. They want to see a 260-pound guy run a 4.4 40, run it out a mile a second at a running back who's running a 4.3, and they want to see a collision, like 2 cars crashing.
And they want to hear it on the
And they wanna
surround
hear it
sound.
On the surround sound, and then they can go, whoa, and then jump up. Then they want to see a guy in baseball not hit a ball where it goes off the outfielders' glove into the stands. They want to see that ball, when it's hit, go so far that the people in the upper deck stand up and look and watch the ball fly out the park. That's what fans want to see. Because fans want to be entertained. They don't want to see somebody that they're paying $30, $40, $50 a pop to do something that they can do.
Right.
People want to see people do things that they know no way in earth they can do what these guys are doing out there. And people talk about that, and then we come back with this hypocrisy of sports writers like you talk about with the Hall of Fame. There have been different eras in baseball since baseball was invented. Mm-hmm. Whether it be the dead ball era, whether it was the era when African Americans and Latino players were segregated out of the league, whether you talked earlier about a guy like Babe Ruth. He was great during his time.
Yep.
Babe Ruth didn't play against African American players and Latino players. Babe Ruth was drinking and carousing and doing everything. If Babe Ruth played right now, he'd be suspended for 2 years.
Yep.
So it's all about time periods. The other thing is, when it comes to steroids, I totally agree, first of all, with both of y'all. Amateur sports, high school level, college level, out. Shouldn't be there. Olympic sports, shouldn't be there. But on a professional level, where there's money involved, when people talk about integrity, once you put money involved in the system, there's no more integrity.
Nope.
The individual, and Dollar made the perfect comment, an individual's got to sit down and make a determination on what's best for them. If the finances are right, and they know they can play without the stuff, they're going to do it. But if a guy's borderline, he didn't do the right thing for them first 10 years with his money, and now he's saying, I got to get 5 more years out of this, but my body's only giving me 2. But if I take this stuff, I can get to 5, he's going to take the 5. And when he takes the 5, he's not thinking about what happens to his body when he's 70. He's thinking about what's happening with his body when he's 35.
Mm-hmm.
Because little John wants the G.I. Joe to Kung Fu grip.
You're right.
His daughter wants the new Lexus because she's going off to college. Wife wants the house 10,000 square feet with a swimming pool and jacuzzi. And you can't do that when you selling napkins and tissue paper at the local grocery store, but you can get that stuff when you're out there on the field. You know, final thing is, if Mary J. Blige and 50 Cent and guys like that are using HGH so that they can perform better at their concerts. and
LL
sell-
Cool J too.
Right.
He was on the juice.
And LL Cool J is what, 75 years old, still
Yep.
rapping and dancing, licking his lips? But why is he doing that? Because there are chemicals out there that allow him to perform. Are you not going to buy his CD or DVD because he's on the stuff?
Nope, they ain't gonna do that.
You don't care because he's entertaining you. And I think that's where the hypocrisy comes from.
But there's only one person that I know that was on steroids. I mean, that known was on steroids. I mean, one baseball player y'all can name. Yeah, you name him. One baseball player was on steroids, and he had a great year, and he ain't done it since.
Brady Anderson.
There he is. He hit 50 home runs.
He went from a 20 home run season to a 50 home run season and went right
He went
back.
from a medium uniform to an extra large.
Right. Quick.
And then the next year, I don't think he hit 50 home runs combined.
Well, I had somebody today, the final thing on steroids, I had somebody today tell me, and I did it, and it actually worked. They said if you go on the internet and look up Will Clark stats and Rafael Palmeiro stats, they said if you want to find out when the steroid era started, go Google their information. Because when Will Clark came into the major league, he was a home run hitter.
Will Clark. He played for the Giants.
Right. When
Out of
Palmeiro
Mississippi.
came into the league, he was a singles hitter. And they both came into the league in 1986.
Okay.
Now here's some interesting for you to let you see how this works. In 86, Will Clark hit 11 home runs, Palmeiro hit 3. In 87, Will Clark hit 35, Palmeiro hit 14. And they stayed consistent like that, where Palmeiro dropped down to 8-8 the next 2 years. Then he was hitting, in the teens after that. Go to 1993. So they've been in the league about 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
In 1993, guess how many home runs Will Clark hit?
Probably 15 or 16.
He hit 14 home runs. Guess how many Palmeiro hit?
40.
37. After hitting 3 and 8 and 14.
Well, he worked on his mechanics with his with his batting coach.
Next year, he hit 23. Year after that, 39, 39, 38, 43, 47, 39, 47, 43, 38. So then he went 7 years in a row, hitting almost 50 or 40 home runs a year. Will Clark, guess how many times he broke 30 after that?
Probably 1 or 2.
He didn't. He went exactly how you're supposed to. First 7 years went up, then he came down. Palmeiro was at the same level, and then kept going up and up and up and up. Guess when Palmeiro started coming down?
After the 2004, 2005.
2004. In 2003, he hit 38 home runs. 2004, he hit 23. 2005, he hit 15. They started testing in 2004. Made it illegal. So that tells you right there. Those guys were using that stuff.
So 93, huh?
1993 is when all the juice started really coming into the league. And to me,
What year they had a strike?
they had to strike, what was that, 90, was that 94, 95?
There it is.
And like you said, they had to bring baseball back. So
Hey, today,
turn your back,
do what you got to do.
do what you got to do. Handle your business. We need what they call it, Bics.
We need some
But in
posteriors. We need some posteriors in the
They
stands.
call it Bics, butt in chairs.
Right.
And they got them butts in the chairs. And now that the stadium's filled back up, and now baseball's back on top, and now the same people who turned it back, like you said, now want to come in and take a dollar and put them in jail.
Don't put them in jail.
You know. And then, but look what they're going to jail for. They're not going to jail for steroids.
They going to jail for lying.
Lying. That's the incredible part about this whole argument. Oh, steroids is bad. Steroids is bad. Ain't put one person in jail for steroids. Put them in jail for lying.
Good line. And I think that's crazy.
That's
Perj-
ridiculous.
Perjury.
Perjury. And that, oh, you can't go up there and, you know, we're going to throw Barry Bonds in jail, and we're going to throw Mark McGuire, and we're going to throw Tejada in jail, and now Roger Clemens going to jail.
Which I think is ridiculous.
All Roger Clemens trying to do was basically save face. He worked all these years to get his reputation. He did exactly what we said. Somebody came to him and said, Roger, you know your ERA is slipping. He went, I think it was, when he left the Yankees to go to Toronto, that year, his ERA was 5.
I think
He got to Toronto, and
HGH.
after he started using that stuff,
I think HGH help pitchers more than it does hitters and stuff because, I mean, you look at a pitcher, he throws at least 110 balls. It varies from 70 to 90 during a game. Okay, you turn down your shoulder muscles. You always hear about rotator cuff and Tommy John.
right.
So how you want to keep those strong? You want to keep the muscles up here strong? You want to keep them right here. You're throwing. This your livelihood right here. Your right hand, majority of them right hand. Your right hand is your money, is your breadwinner.
Right.
And they got to keep that strong.
Well,
Had it like been back in the old days when the man was head of the house. Hey, this arm is head of the house.
but when that arm got weak,
The house went.
the house and him gone. Well, we're gonna go from this subject. We ain't got no hits yet, but give Stat Girl a call. We got about 10 minutes left of the show. 328.
Cause don't stack away, cut us a check.
Right, because she's been taking her HGH, and so her arm is real strong about picking that phone up. So if you want to give her a hit, hit her at 328-8280. Now we're going to get into something that I think will be a little bit more fun and something I think we can all agree about. Tonight, the NBA All-Star Weekend kicked off. They had the celebrity game playing. Dollar actually
Tell them about the
played.
trade.
Well, we're gonna talk about the trade too. We'll talk about the All-Star game. Then we'll talk a little bit of the NBA. Then we'll go ahead and get on out of here. But the All-Star Weekend kicked off tonight. 3 days. You're gonna have tomorrow the slam dunk contest. You're gonna have three-point shootout,
Skills game.
skills game, and what's the other thing they're gonna have tomorrow? Horse.
Playing horse, huh? Well, we should get on. I can get in that.
Horse.
Only don't do no fancy dunking.
They
Well,
get
you know what?
They get you out there real quick.
But I'm glad you can't dunk.
You can.
You cannot dunk
Oh,
in the horse game.
I can
anymore.
win that.
It's all on shooting.
Oh, I can win that.
They got 3 players playing it.
But I don't know. You remember?
I can win that.
Look, you remember way back in the day. You remember CBS used to have horse games. You remember they used to have.
Right.
They show them right before the NBA game, Sunday game. They have a horse. They have 2 players. Whoever's playing each other, maybe they played earlier in the week or somewhere, and they had to play the game of horse.
Right. And that's why I thought it was just interesting that they have brought horse back. Because horse is one of them games, like Dollar said, you ain't got to be a dunker. You ain't got to be. The thing
Trick
about
shots.
horse, you ain't even got to be an athlete. Sometimes the worst basketball players can be the best horse players.
Male or female.
You know,
See,
'cause
down-
they can throw it off the side of the
See, down-
garage, hit the tree.
See, down in Kentucky, we didn't play horse. We had horses and pig. If you had a whole lot of players, you had to play pig. But if you play horses, they gave you the extra. They gave you the extra juice.
I'm just turning to you right now, man. Now, you don't play basketball laws. First of all, how many people would you have on the court playing horse?
Well, I don't know what he's talking about, horses and pigs, but our average people we play is probably 2, 3
Hey.
at the max.
Oh,
I
yeah,
ain't never had
five.
that many people on the court where you had to short the game.
I mean, if we have more than 5 or 7, we gonna play a scrimmage.
we're gonna play a game.
We gonna play something.
You
you
gotta
know,
start
but-
out, warm
but,
up,
if that's all they're doing in Paducah, Kentucky, or wherever he went to school at, and they got 15 people playing horse or pig, then y'all really got some problems up in there.
Then they wonder why, Coach, I don't know why we 1-17.
I mean,
the
we-
boys play pig all the time.
All the time
It
we
wasn't-
horses,
it wasn't
we
like-
waiting for people to get there so we can
It
start the
wasn't,
game.
it wasn't nothing like that.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm sorry. I ain't mean,
Wasn't no 1-17.
mean to offend the
Oh,
hoopers.
well, one thing about we ain't slow the ball down.
Oh, look, well, you right. I'm gonna go ahead and let you have that.
Dollar. If you shot the ball, you had to come out of the game.
I'm gonna let you have that one. But the dunk contest, got all the stuff. You got the horse pig game that Bundy's talking about right now. You got 3-point shootout, skills challenge. But the thing that everybody watched is the dunk contest. Now, last year we saw Superman.
It was exciting last year.
Fly.
That was the first time it was exciting for a long time.
Then you saw a boy put a cupcake with a candle on top of the rim, blow it out.
That took skills.
My question is, we all of us been watching dunk contests for years. Just when you thought you'd seen it all, what's the next thing that's going in terms of the next level of dunks? What else can guys do? You got a 7-foot man who jumped and put a sticker up on the glass 12 feet high.
And you had got what was it, Gerald Glass dunk barefooted?
Yeah, take his shoes off.
That's
And it's Dr. Scholl.
that's a man right there.
Right. 'Cause when you come down,
He coming down hard.
them toes go, oh, no Dr. Scholl. So what's next? What's the next dunk that you're going to see in the dunk contest to make everybody just go, ooh?
Well, they've been working on it. We don't know. But the only thing I ask is get Dr. J off the damn dunk contest. I mean, believe me, I'm a Dr. J fan to the heart. But if he is on there, don't ask him a question. And if you do ask him a question, give him a time limit. Because,
Ask him a yes or no question.
he just prolongs the
The
whole
funniest thing
thing.
had to be Cheryl Miller looking at Dr. J saying, come on, man. When she said that, I'm going to tell you right now, Dollar, I'm with you.
Oh, boy.
I love Dr. J to death, but I'm sitting there scratching
boy,
like, but
boy.
this man going to shut up. This woman going to slap him with this microphone. The other problem I got with Dr. J, nobody's dunks are good enough for him. And he ain't as good as
He
Dr.
old,
man.
man. He old school, man.
He old school. The boys jump with no shoes on.
Well, he gave dude props. That's what the only dunk Dr. J gave props on. He goes, you just don't know how hard it is to dunk without shoes on. Now let me explain something. And then he went on to that long.
And
Oh,
she said, come on, man.
well, that's the only dunk
Give
he
me a
gave props
score.
on. Yeah.
But is there any particular dunk you think, or that you can imagine that somebody's going to do?
Well, they done jumped over people. They done flip. I mean, like Bundy said, last year was the most different kind of dunks that I seen when somebody put a cupcake on the rim, blow it out,
and
dunk it,
basketball.
and then here goes Howard put a sticker on top of the backboard, which really nobody paid attention to that. They
Right.
really didn't know what was going on there because it really kind of went past my eyes until you seen it the second time around.
Right.
So if they can beat, and there's people dunking this year, I really don't know who they are except for Dwight and the little short brother from the Knicks.
Right. Nate Robinson is going to be now, here's my dark horse. Rudy Fernandez, 6'6" guard. He plays for Portland. Rudy Fernandez played on the Spanish national team, played against the USA team in that championship game in the Olympics. Young guy, 6'6", real athletic. He can go. And I think people get excited. You talk about Nate Robinson, little guy, but we've seen the little guy before. The big guy, Dwight Howard, he's the defending champion. I think Fernandez, just due to the fact that, number one, he's an unknown. If he comes in and does anything remotely exciting, I think that's going to get him an opportunity to get in there to the finals.
Yeah.
Pontificate.
And so how many people are in the dunk contest this year? There's only what?
They only got 4.
And see, that's why I think, man, they either need to. I mean, back in the day, there'd usually be 10 people in dunk contest.
Right.
You got 2 or 3 rounds. That's what make 4 people in dunk contest. Come on, they can enforce. Okay, you rookies, you guys, you. This is what the fans want to see, really.
Right.
So I think they should really, especially the rookies, get in the dunk contest.
Right.
You know, come on, you got
Instead of being on the sideline with your camera.
You gotta at least have
ooh
10
and
people
ah.
in the dunk
I mean,
contest.
they ain't a rookie game.
You know,
Well, see, my attitude, I'm with you on who should be in the dunk contest or the number of guys in the dunk contest, but I think it should go back when the stars were in the dunk contest. When Michael Jordan was against Dominique.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to see a dunk contest with LeBron, Kobe, D-Wade, Dwight Howard. You know, that group right there.
But you won't.
Right, because number one, you know, they don't even want to be at the All-Star game to really be frank about it.
Because Dr. Buss going to tell Kobe, now, you know, you get hurt, you know, you
Right.
cut your check.
But you know, obviously, you know, this is obviously just a dream or a wish right now. But that's what I want to see because you know, you think about when Vince Carter was in that dunk contest about 6-7 years ago. You know, when you get guys like that who are the best of the best, they gonna try to put on
A show.
a show. Some of you know these other guys, you know, Gerald Green did a good job in terms of dunking, but you still were like, well, who's Gerald Green? You know, and that's what I'm talking about is star power, is to see some of these other guys out there basically doing what they
But,
can do.
you know, it goes back to your contracts.
Money,
Money.
right?
Do I want to go out here and get hurt this weekend?
but what would you like to see more than anything? No,
But
I mean,
I know what you like to see, but it's
No,
about what these owners and these agents didn't
Right, but-
work with.
But what I would like to see in the dunk contest, I want to see a 90s. I want them to do, okay, an old school dunk contest from the players back in the 90s, the Jordans, the Atlanta Hawks, Big Boy, Flat Top, what's
Dominique.
his name? Dominique. I want to see them 90 boys just have an old school dunk contest. It may not get up too high,
Wait,
but
wait.
just to see them. Do you know how many people would just sit down and watch that?
Well, first of all, you know,
You talking about the actual players come back?
Yes, the actual.
Man, Dominique can't jump, man. I saw him in that game before I came to
But
the
you
show.
know
Now
what?
he had to throw alley oop to Terrell Owens. Came with his tight uniform on. It was tight
That
too.
would be hilarious.
now first of all, now Spud Webb was what, about 5'2". Spud Webb now about 5'2" and 5'2" wide. Only thing he's dunking is
That'd
dunking.
be
He
hilarious.
ain't dunking no basketball. That would be
All right,
hilarious.
now
First
would you-
of all,
now would
see
you have
one
to-
run up and the ball gets stuck on the rim?
No, you had to lower the goal.
Yeah,
Yeah, you had to
do
lower,
that.
you had to lower it at least
That'd be
8 foot.
hilarious. Man.
That would be hilarious because you know can't none of them dunk.
Oh,
That's the
well, like
funny
Buddy
part.
said, you know the goal. Make it, 8-foot goal or something.
Even that just be embarrassing.
No, it wasn't.
I wouldn't want to see that.
That'd be funny. Man, that'd be so damn funny to me.
Well, we only got a couple minutes left on the show before we get out of here. Guy just left the league, the NFL, after 18 seasons, and I know we wanted to throw in a couple quick words about this. Brett Favre, he's finally gone.
Favre.
Are you happy that
Yes.
he's finally retired?
Yes. Brett done his job, man. It's
Right.
time to just go on.
I agree. It's just like, old school Johnny Unitas, seeing him in a Chargers uniform.
Just
or
holding
seeing
on.
Joe Namath in a Rams uniform. It wasn't right.
No.
It just wasn't right. And to see Brett Favre
Joe
in the New York
Montana in the
Jets-
Chiefs.
Chiefs uniform. And Joe Montana for 2 years played good football, but it just wasn't right to see him in a different uniform.
But don't be surprised if I get Brett a call and say, hey,
He's done.
I hope he is. But money, man, I don't know, man. You just never know.
Well, like I said,
Cause he won hit.
If
He
Vinny
won. He
Testaverde-
won.
if
He
Vinny
won good
Testaverde
hit
can
from
come
retirement.
back 5 or 6 times from the grocery store, Brett Favre come back one more time too.
Well, the reason why Vinny Testaverde came back 5-6 times from the grocery store, that's where he belonged, in produce. Because he wasn't even on the level of Brett Favre. Brett Favre right now is better than Vinny Testaverde anytime in his career. But I'm glad he's gone because he played at a level during the 90s that nobody, and even after turn of the century, nobody else could do. One quick thing, NBA Bun, did you tell us? Miami Heat traded.
Miami Heat traded
Sean Marion?
Sean Marion for Jermaine O'Neal.
So the Toronto Raptors and the Miami Heat made a trade tonight and swapped Sean Marion.
Is that your
Jermaine
big
O'Neal.
trade you said you was gonna happen?
Yeah, I told you.
How hard is
All-Star break.
How hard is that on a player just to move just like that?
Hey, you get that money, I'd move them all. Just like that, we're going to move on out of here. Tell it like it is, UPTV Channel 6. We appreciate you sitting back. Aaron in the back. Stack Girl didn't have to do anything. Big Bun, Big Dollar, Big Joe. We're going to get on out of here.
That's dollar bill. That ain't big dollar.
That's true.
Clear that
Don't
up.
check us out this Sunday, but next Sunday on WCFN, Channel 3 or Channel 49. We out of here. Appreciate you watching.
See
Peace.
ya.
You ready? Let's go.